Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Your online activity shouldn't be public. Protect yourself at expressvpn.com/rooster. Welcome to another episode of Always Open. This is the second one we're doing in quarantine, and we're here. Some of us are queer, and we're ready for another fantastic week at home. I'm your host, Barbara Dunkelman, and I'm joined by some lovely, lovely people who I'm so excited about to have on the show with me today. Here they are! Yay!
Hi.
Bruce and Autumn.
And it's me.
Mariel.
I wasn't ready. I'm here. I'm the one who's queer. Autumn used to be prison gay, but you know.
No longer.
She still is. She still is a little bit. Just a little bit.
What does prison gay mean?
Oh God, we have to go over this again? We had a whole conversation about it.
She basically said that, what was it? Let me see if I remember correctly. You went to like an all-girls school and you were basically like, there's no other choice, so okay.
Right.
That's pretty much the gist of it. Yeah. You know,
one of my favorite terms,
do.
I think. Prison gay.
And now you're stuck with Bruce, so you guys are forced to, love each other and whatnot.
We're both gay for each other at this point.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
Well, guys, welcome back to the show. We've missed you so much. It's been forever.
Yeah, we miss you guys.
It's been really long. I noticed in the opening that I was like, wow, Barbara and Mariel look so different. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because we all are at home, not doing anything to our hair or faces or clothes. It's so sad.
Yeah. I've been wearing the same pajama pants for 2 weeks now.
I know.
I smell horrible.
Yeah, I'm wearing jeans today. I'm like so confused. Like, what? My body is like, what are you doing?
You look good. You look really
Thanks.
Yeah, you guys both everyone looks great. It's funny, we talked about this on the RT podcast the other week, but how like you're so used to seeing either just your own face or your significant other's face all the time. So whenever you see other people, you're like, wow, these are so beautiful.
Yep, it's true.
I went and picked up tacos from my favorite restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants here in Austin yesterday. And just seeing the owner, Sarah, like as she was coming out to deliver my order, I was just like, oh my God, like you're here, you're real, you're a real person. I can see you. I'm not going to touch you though. Get away.
Yeah, I
had
Gus come pick up something from my place the other day. I was lending him a piece of equipment and like I left it outside for him to come pick up. And I could see him through the window and I like saw him walk up and he like waved at me and put a thumbs up. And I was like, wow, a real life Gus.
Your nose is all pressed against the window. You're like, Gus.
So how are you guys all doing? A couple weeks into this whole shebang. Just want to check in.
I think we're almost in a month at this point because California started early.
Yeah.
Are you really?
And we had started sheltering at home before they gave the actual like, hey, shelter at home mandatory thing. Yeah. So we're almost at a month of this. I think.
Which is crazy. Damn.
Yeah, it's been and honestly, it's like I never realized it would be so slow. Like it feels like every single day just drags. Even when I'm working a ton, it kind of doesn't matter. It still feels really, really slow.
Yeah, to me it fluctuates. Like sometimes it'll feel like I don't know where time is going and I'm like awake and then all of a sudden it's bedtime and I have to go to sleep and I'm like, what the fuck? And then other times it feels like it has been a year and I've been trapped inside forever. So
yeah, it kind of feels like a little bit of both for me personally. Like some days I wake up and I work until 8 or 9 p.m. and then I'm like, wow, okay, I have like an hour or two to actually do anything else that I actually want to do. Like my house is a mess. Like we haven't caught up on anything just because both Trevor and I have been working nonstop. But then it's like, holy shit, it's only been like 2 weeks since we've been quarantined. It doesn't seems like way longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I quarantined early. I was one of the ones that I think probably right around when LA was in the shelter in place, we did too. Because my girlfriend had just gotten back from a trip. And so they were basically like, you know what? She's been flying. You should just stay home. And so I started a garden to keep myself busy.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Nice.
Those onions are growing, you guys.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're coming up. I'm so
You won't
excited.
even need the grocery store anymore.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait a few months, but in like 3 months, I'm gonna have food.
Did you plant the toilet paper plant?
I tried. Yeah, I tried to plant a money tree, like in
Oh yeah,
Animal Crossing.
Animal
but-
Crossing.
Well,
Could you
you
do
can
that
wet
in
your
Animal
ass with an onion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara doesn't know about the money tree.
Oh, Barbara.
I don't
Money
play
Tree.
Animal Crossing. I need to. That's like the one thing that I'm like, I wish I had time for this. And I think I'm just going to be like, fuck it. I will dedicate half an hour a day to take a break and pick up Animal Crossing because everyone is raving about
You
it.
should. Yeah, you should.
It's so relaxing. It's like the best game ever to wind down.
Okay, relaxing, but also the worst game in the world because you are tied to paying off your debt to this capitalist pig, Mr. Tom Nook, which like I still love him. He's trying to make his way in the world. I appreciate it.
I hate him. No,
But
I hate him.
also- Yeah, right? And like have you guys tried the whole like Tarantula Island thing?
I finally got it. It took me like 35 tries.
You got to the actual Tarantula Island?
I didn't make the Tarantula Island. I found the Tarantula Island. Yeah.
I tried to make my own where you like go through and you cut down all the resources. Also, this is colonization is what this game is. Like
That's true.
you go onto a foreign land and you literally just rape and pillage the land and take all their resources, and it's 100% fucked up, but I still love it. And so I was cutting down everything. I like got rid of all the flowers, got rid of all the trees, like, and butterflies wouldn't quit spawning. And I swear to God, I filled up my inventory like 2 times with just fucking butterflies, and I went fucking nuts. And I needed to take a break because I was like, I'm gonna rage quit Animal Crossing.
My favorite thing I saw, it was something that someone posted about Animal Crossing, and you say Tom Nook, and it reminded me of this. There's this thing where he's drinking a cup of coffee, and then you come in, and he apparently like turns to the side, and the coffee's gone, or like he goes like this into his pocket. And so the picture in the meme was like basically a picture of his pocket, just a coffee cup in it with coffee spilling all over his pants.
Oh, I love him. You know what? He gives you loans and he doesn't ask for interest.
There's no interest.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's true.
so it's a pretty good deal.
That's
I'm not
true.
gonna lie.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes. You know what? Eat the rich. Starting with Tom Nook.
That should be the Animal Crossing slogan. Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to start off the show with a new game that I picked up called Pando. I didn't tell you guys about this before. It was going to be a surprise. But basically, it's a game where you test your friends to see how well they know you. So because we're all in different places and we don't all have the cards, I'll just read them on behalf of everyone. So let's start with Autumn.
All right.
And I feel like Bruce is going to know a lot of these.
Probably.
I hope so.
Okay, hold on. Stipulation: if Bruce doesn't know them and I do, then Autumn and I are going to get married.
Right, yeah.
Oh, you
Then,
got it, yeah.
Mariel, you are taking my hand in marriage.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Which, oh, by the way, I don't think we've talked to you guys in person or on camera, I guess, since the engagement. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
We'll see if the marriage happens this year or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
All right. So does Autumn throw her dirty clothes on the floor or in the hamper?
Do you want me to answer this question?
You answer last.
Okay, answer last. You got it. You got it done.
I'm going to guess on the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to go floor.
So Autumn does a combination. She does a combination. If she's near the hamper, which is like literally right next to it, she'll put it in there. But if she is in the bathroom, she'll throw it on the floor in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what it is about the bathroom specifically, but like if I'm in there at the end of the day, I'm just like, fuck it. I don't care anymore.
I have a bathtub right next to the sink in the bathroom. And when I'm like changing to go in the shower or like whatever, I'll hang my clothes on the side of the bathtub. And then those will just pile up. Like I'll just like fold them over the side of the bathtub.
Yeah, that's
where they go.
Yeah, I have. Where did they go?
I mean, I run around the house naked because I just throw my shit in a hamper. Like, so the hamper's kind of close. It's not close to my bathroom, but I just put my dirty clothes in the hamper and then run away from my windows to the shower. Because the windows, people can see into our bedroom.
And we're literally at the very front of our apartment complex, so like anyone driving in can see Bruce's dick.
So like I'm just like I try to run away as fast as I can.
That's your OnlyFans.
That's
Get a glimpse.
Yeah, so, that's true. That's the lewds.
Yeah, that's a great activity to do in quarantine. Start an OnlyFans.
There you go.
All right.
I started that before quarantine.
It's just your dick, no face pics, just dick
That's
pics.
it. No face pics. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What style of underwear is Autumn wearing right now?
Is there options?
I would say like a thong.
I'm gonna go with just like a regular old undies. I don't know.
What is that?
Regular old undies.
Your typical what is it, bikini? It's bikini, is that what the style's called?
Yeah. I think so. Or it's like
yeah.
it doesn't cover the full butt cheek, but most of it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
So I haven't seen today. I'm gonna say thong.
I'm wearing a thong.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Oh man.
But yeah, most of quarantine I have been going commando, so I decided to pop on a thong and be fancy. Yeah.
I think I've worn underwear one day out of the last 2 weeks. And it was because I was
not
not
right.
Yeah. I usually just because I wear like sweatpants or pajama pants and it sucks. Yeah.
Mariel, are you wearing underwear? I'm wearing underwear every day.
I wear underwear every day.
Yeah.
If you can let things breathe, why not?
Oh yeah, girl.
Yeah, but like
saying.
how much breath do you need down there? How stuffy does it get?
As much as I can get.
Yeah, my shit needs air.
Is Autumn a hugger? I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say it makes her uncomfortable to people she doesn't know. But she will hug. She'll hug me. She's hugged me before. I felt a little resistance, but you know.
But I made her.
Autumn is generally a hugger, but because she knows it's nice. You know?
Yeah.
These answers are so complicated.
She knows. Well, I mean, that's because I know you. She knows it's nice, but I don't know that you want to hug everybody all the time.
Like if it's like you initiate, or if it's more like if someone else initiates, you'll do it, but you're not going to be the one to be like, "Give me a hug," kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's very accurate. I think I like to match energy. Like if I meet someone and they're super warm and friendly, I'm like, oh hell yeah, let's hug. But like if they're weird, I'm gonna be super weird, and we're definitely not gonna hug. So
yep.
Oh, I seem to know you pretty well so far. Last one for Autumn. When Autumn visits the can in public, the bathroom, does she sit, hover, or cover?
Cover.
Yeah, what's cover? What does that mean?
Cover it.
Like a toilet seat cover.
Oh, toilet seat cover. Gotcha.
I'm gonna say she sits.
I'm waiting on Mariel.
Mariel looks like this is the hardest one.
Yeah, I'm waiting on Mariel.
I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to think of like I feel like it's like chaotic and like neutral and evil, you know? So I'm trying to determine which alignment falls into what I think Autumn does. I'm gonna say hover.
Hover. Okay.
Truthfully, I really don't know. I'm gonna say sit.
I sit.
Okay,
I do
all right,
indeed.
all right.
Yeah. I just plop my ass down and go to town.
Me too, man. I'm usually like too exhausted or lazy to do anything else but like sit. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just wash my ass later.
I like Mariel's giving you more credit than you deserve.
I know Mariel is like being really nice to me right now. But
Well,
no,
I hear
I'm-
that hovering's worse in terms of like
Because it splashes.
germ
Yeah.
spreading. Yeah.
Right, it's gross. Also, I
Oh.
have like short legs, so I like every time I try to hover, it like doesn't really work. I'm like still kind of touching it, so no point.
I get that.
All right. Well, let's move on to let's do Mariel next.
Oh, spicy.
Does Mariel would she rather receive a foot rub or a back rub?
I'm gonna say I feel like Mariel's a back rub person.
All right, I'm going back rub too.
I feel like most people would rather receive a back rub. Although Mariel does a lot of like she's doing her yard work and she cooks, so she's on her feet a lot.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say back rub though. I think I agree with you guys.
Oh my god, you guys know me so well. My feet are super ticklish.
Oh, are
I
they?
don't. I've gotten better with like my feet being touched, but they're usually super ticklish. But I have like bad sciatica pain, and so I'm always trying to get a back rub.
Oh yeah,
Always.
Dude, back rubs are the shit.
yeah, they are.
They're the best.
Do you guys
Would Mariel-
since
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, just a quick cue, since we all have significant others who live with them, is there a mutual like if you get a back rub, Bruce, are you then like expected to follow up with a back rub for Autumn? What's the exchange of rubbins?
The exchange is we both pick things out of each other's backs.
Ew. Yeah, we do. We love
So-
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We both really love back scratches, and those back scratches end up being like apes grooming each other.
Yes.
So then like I scratched. No, absolutely not. That's disgusting. How dare you, Barbara?
He draws the line.
that's terrible.
Okay.
No, we scratch each other's backs, but then like we end up picking each other's backs
Mhm.
and like clean. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're cleaning each other.
Yeah, it is pretty
Right.
awesome, but I like can't do it anymore because of my acrylics. So now it's usually like we'll scratch each other's back and then he'll pick at my back and then I'll try to pick at his back, but it just hurts really bad because my nails are so long.
I want
So-
those nails taken off.
Do you pick
Eventually,
sight
right?
unseen, or if you have like if you feel something, are you immediately like, oh, I need to look at it? I need to look at it before I
That's-
pick it.
It's that one. We gotta
yeah,
look at it.
turn on the phone
Yeah.
flashlight.
Yeah.
Be like,
Oh yeah,
what is that?
that in there.
Yeah, we gotta look.
Wow.
I mean, it could be a mole or something. We don't want to pick off a mole. You know?
Right.
Right.
I had one.
Yeah.
I have like a clogged pore on my neck and one on my back. And Trevor, like, every now and then, will be like, "All right, let's see if that guy's there." Like, and he'll like force
yeah,
my head,
yeah, yeah.
like, let me see it. And he'll like try to get at it. And I'm just like, no. I also always have one hair that grows on my neck, and it's like a whack-a-mole. It'll grow in one place, he'll pluck it for me, and then it'll grow back on like the other side.
So weird.
Damn, that hair wants to exist
I
so
know.
bad. Let me live.
All right, Meryl, would you permanently delete all of your social media for $5,000? I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty important part of like your job and your livelihood. So I'm gonna say no too.
Damn, I'm gonna be controversial. Say yes. Do it, Mariel.
Ooh.
Ooh.
5,000 is like, I love money, but that's
low.
too
That's low.
that's
Yeah.
a
too
little
low.
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Especially
little
like
cheap.
for all the work and time that you've put into growing those platforms. Yeah.
Right. And all the Animal Crossing hacks that I can get off of Twitter. Like, what am I gonna do?
Does Meryl always wash her hands after she pees?
I'm gonna say hard yes on that one. I'm getting a hard yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I saw her face.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
We share a bathroom, Barbara.
You and me?
I mean, at the office.
Well, I think like in public is different versus like if you're at home and you're like, I gotta pee real fast.
I would say probably 98% of the time my hands get washed.
Yeah.
There has been the 2% though where I still will wet them. But now, after all of this happening and understanding how soap actually works and how much time it needs to work, gotta wash, you know? I gotta stay true.
All right, let's see how well we know Bruce. Bruce, you're up. You're in the hot seat. Does Bruce prefer bone-in or boneless chicken wings?
I don't think I've ever seen you eat a chicken wing.
I mean, I generally don't, but there is a hard answer that I immediately knew my answer.
Wow.
I'm gonna say bone-in.
I'm gonna say bone-in too.
I'm gonna say boneless. Fuck it. Let's do it.
It's boneless.
Whoa!
I cannot stand them.
Hell yeah, dude.
And for me, if we're gonna like be living in 2020, why the fuck do I have bones in anything?
Yeah, that's true.
All,
you are
know?
all about like the convenience factor in your food.
I mean, I eat a Chipotle bowl of mush every day.
Yeah.
That's all I do. It's just a literal it's just energy. So at that point, yeah.
Funnel in and not have any stopping.
Exactly, yeah. But I appreciate you saying bone in because it's more manly. I appreciate that.
It is more manly, that's true.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Does Bruce prefer self-checkout or a human checker? So at like a grocery store.
Self for sure.
I would have said self-checkout too.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's the fastest way. I mean, like by the way, I love talking to people. I'm an extrovert, but
about the speed.
Get me through. Get me out of there. I don't want to be there. Get me out of there. Yeah.
Absolutely. The only reason I like a checker is if I have a lot of stuff and like they're bagging it for me.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Has Bruce ever done a juice cleanse? I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no too.
So I know you haven't purposefully done one, but you kind of did one when you got your jaw surgery.
Oh yeah, I didn't have a choice though.
So as a cleanse, no, but you have kind of done that before.
I've done it, but I hated literally every second of it.
Yeah.
So I would never do a juice cleanse on my own. I try to live relatively healthy on my own. So yeah, no, I would never do juice.
Ultimately, though, juice cleanses aren't the greatest thing for your system.
They're not.
They're not at all. Yeah.
Calories in, calories out, my friend. That's weight loss.
Yeah. I know.
Last one for you. Are you addicted to caffeine? I actually don't know this one. Like, I feel like I don't know your drinking habits, but I'm gonna guess no.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no too.
So you were, and you got off caffeine for a long time, and now sometimes you'll still have a little bit, but I wouldn't say you're addicted to it anymore.
I'm not addicted to it anymore. So right before I met Autumn, I quit caffeine. I was like cold turkey because I was super addicted to it and loved it.
Really?
And I still
what
do.
What was your like caffeine of choice?
Caffeine of choice was Diet Coke, which is terrible for you. It's obviously the chemicals and a lot of other shit you should just never have. But I loved.
You should probably talk to Ryan.
Right.
Dude, yeah, it's so bad for you. And I quit it right before I met Autumn, and I definitely feel better now. But man, caffeine's awesome.
That's great.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah,
I love it so much. But yeah, I never have it anymore.
I have to have. I don't have much. I just have 1 cup of coffee a day. But like, if I don't have that cup, I do not feel good. So I think that's pretty much addicted. All right. Well, let's wrap it up with. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If you quit and get a headache, you're addicted. That's how you know. So, yeah.
I think I've gained an addiction to coffee in quarantine because I never used to. I mean, I would like drink it like once a week at the office or something if I needed like, to wake up or something. But now every morning we wake up and we drink coffee because we're like, what the fuck else are we going to do to start our day?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're addicted now.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club. All right, let's see how well you guys know me. Do I typically watch TV while eating dinner?
Yes.
I'm gonna say yes.
I'll just say no, just because everyone else said yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Trevor and I have a coffee table where the thing comes up, and we just like put our dinner on it. It's so great.
Oh, the best invention.
Have I ever had plastic surgery?
Nah.
Well, Mariel might know.
It was taking a long time for this question.
No, but yes. No, but no. But no.
What?
But
So I don't know if it would count. I haven't had plastic surgery. I've had like dental surgery.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
you're like
what I
me.
was thinking.
Yeah. So like I don't have like Botox or injections or any like nose jobs or anything like that, but
Well, why did you have it done?
I have veneers.
Oh, there we go. Yes, that's not, in my opinion, if you didn't do it for only appearance sake, then it's not plastic surgery.
Interesting. So if it's like a medical need type thing.
Yeah, if it was like a medical need thing.
Yeah, I had a fucked up bite. I had like a weird like
Me too.
my teeth were like pointed kind of upward, so it was hard to explain, but they were fucked
Yeah,
up.
me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Last one for me. Can I recite the lyrics to the national anthem, the American national anthem?
Oh wow.
No way.
I'm gonna say yes.
Oh,
I actually feel like maybe you can. Yeah, I don't know why.
I sure can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like
good.
you've been here long enough
Yeah.
that you
There,
would.
so,
I
yeah,
can
there was
do it.
I actually learned them when I still lived in Canada because there was a singer I really liked who sang the national
Avril Lavigne?
anthem, and I used to do this thing as a kid where I used to love lip syncing to artists and pretend that I had a good voice because I can't sing for shit. And so I wanted to learn it so that I could lip sync her song.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
That's
amazing.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, that's amazing.
Highlight of my childhood. All right. Well, thanks for playing, guys. I love learning more about all my friends and what
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was
underwear
fun.
they wear.
Or none.
Yeah.
Or not.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to move on to our audience question. This one comes from S, and S wants to know, how do I date someone who shares my hobbies without comparing myself to them? Bum, bum, bum.
Do we share hobbies?
I think the dump truck back there should answer the question for you guys.
I know.
Oh man, that dump truck never stops. Every
We
day.
share the hobby of listening to dump trucks.
Every day is trash day here
Yeah.
after the Greene household.
I don't really think we do, honestly. Like, I know we both work in the video game industry technically,
Yeah,
but
we
like,
don't share. I mean, like video games we play together sometimes.
yeah, but like, I wouldn't consider video gaming to be really one of my hobbies, and
Yeah.
that's more your job than a hobby. So,
And you work out, but you work out differently than I do
Mhm,
because like I lift weights and you do yoga,
mhm.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we share but their question is a good one though, because I have, let's see here, like I feel like I've been that sort of thing where if you share a hobby with somebody you're dating, it is inevitable that you're going to compare yourself to them.
Mhm.
And I honestly think it just takes constant check of being like, hey, you know what? We're totally different. We're in a different space. We're probably at a different time in our career, whatever else. You know, we're just different times in our lives. So like, maybe don't compare. It's really hard though. You just have to constantly keep saying, hey, don't compare. You know, their accomplishments are theirs. My accomplishments are mine, et cetera, et cetera. And then be happy for each other when things are successful, and then obviously be sad for each other when things are, you know, not doing as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it work with you guys? Because you both work in like similar industries, obviously,
Mhm.
like doing online media and online entertainment and whatnot. Do you guys find that you have to balance in terms of, especially now that you're both working from home, like when you're recording things and balancing out like who does what at what times, or could you do your work simultaneously?
We're pretty good at doing it simultaneously. I think like generally I am not really cast, so I don't ever really like stream or do anything that would interrupt his workflow. And thankfully, like we live in a pretty big condo, so we have multiple rooms. So like I'll just set up in the
that's
guest room or whatever, and he'll stream out here. So
Autumn's been really super helpful because like I still stream at the same time from the same place. So like I'm pretty consistent in where I am. But like if she has a meeting or something like that, she will then move somewhere else, which is really nice of her to do.
oh yeah, of course.
It is.
Aw.
Yeah.
It is.
It's almost as if you guys should get married or something. You work really well together.
You know what? Maybe we should. How are you and Trevor doing with that?
Yeah.
Barb?
Yeah. You and Trevor doing the same thing.
Yeah, so we struggle a little bit just because the place we're in, the 2 rooms that we've moved all of our stuff into as offices, because we didn't really have home offices before this whole thing started. So we converted our spare room and our guest room into 2 offices, and they're right next to each other, and the walls in our place are very thin. So we've tried our best to like make a schedule for when we're recording, but sometimes like there's nothing we could do because Achievement Hunter records all day, every day. Especially during like work hours. And so like right now he's recording a Let's Roll in the other room. So you might be able to hear him every now and then. But it's been okay. I think it's also just like trying to figure out if one of us have content ideas, like whose channel we're going to use it for.
Oh yeah, I can see that being a thing for sure.
Mariel, you don't have to worry about that at all, right?
No. My girlfriend, she's in school and she's a nanny currently, and so she's actually still working through all of this, which has been kind of crazy. Right now, she's homesick, so she was. You guys missed it, but before we started, she was helping me hang up this poster because this is our spare room / it was a guest room. We turned it into an office, but there's like a huge paint patch behind that poster because we were like, before all of this happened, we were in the middle of like painting this room and trying to make it look nice. And then it all came crashing down. So we like didn't have time to, actually fix up the room. So, but yeah, no, we haven't really like, had too many issues with that. Luckily, like, she goes to work for the most part and I stay home. And the one that does bother me though is the fucking dog and the cat. They don't shut up. They take their work calls. Like they're so inconsiderate. They just, I'll be on a call and they just walk in and start farting and shitting and eating their shit. But, yeah.
Do you guys find that you compete though over anything? Like because you don't really share a lot of hobbies with Hannah, right? Like in terms of what you guys do, you have a very separate kind of interests and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we compete, but we're definitely very much into like sharing with each other, especially me right now. Like with my garden, I feel like I've become like a 5-year-old kid. Because like this morning I walked in and I was like, "Did you see how big the onions were?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, but did you actually see them? Like, did you go outside and see them? Like, did you see how big the onions are?"
Yes, honey, I saw your onions.
Validate my onions, please.
Yeah, basically. And so I just seek a lot of validation. Yeah. But I did have like, I've had situations with exes and stuff where there was a certain feeling like I dated someone who was like super into like, like live music scene, and like it was one of those things where like she always she was always like listening to the coolest new music and stuff, and I found myself trying to like catch up and compete and be like, "Oh yeah, well, did you hear this one song that just came out? Like, I bet you haven't heard that yet." And just like dumb things like that. But yeah, no, currently like there's, if anything, I think we both just want to like indulge each other in our hobbies and be like, as supportive as we can be, even though I would like a little bit more hype for my onions, but it's fine.
We'll give you all the hype.
Yeah. Those onions are huge, Mariel. I saw them. They're massive.
Thanks, dude.
I can only imagine how big they are. They're the biggest onions. They're the biggest onions in the world.
They're huge.
They're huge.
They're huge.
Fuck my life. I would say to the person who submitted this question, because just to give you some context, I think if I recall correctly, their situation was both her and her significant other were both involved in martial arts, and he was like really advancing very quickly, and she was still kind of trailing behind in terms of that. I will say, especially in a relationship, you have to remember like 2 things. Comparison is the thief of joy, and that just kind of is like, I think, a worldwide mindset that everyone should know. Like if you compare yourself to other people, you're always going to be unhappy because there's always someone who's going to be better or smarter or prettier or funnier, like whatever it is. When you compare yourself constantly, you're just going to be unhabbing. And the second one is that,
Bieber, by the way, if you're Justin Bieber, no way. You're the best.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying it out loud. I'm just saying it out loud.
Out of all the people in the world, Justin Bieber, top. But also, someone else's success is not the absence of your own. Yeah. And that's something that, like, especially if you're in a relationship and you do the same thing, whether it's like voice acting or, streaming or whatever it is, like if someone is doing really well, that doesn't mean that you can't still be doing well yourself or feel comfortable about your progress. And also, like, if someone in your relationship is doing well, like, that should be great, because then it's like, cool, like, this is great for all of us.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So that would be my opinion.
Good insight.
Still compares.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our final question of the show. Oh no, we got some box of issues questions. We had a couple. If we don't get to both of them, we could get to another one in the post show. But this one comes from Harry. And this is what Harry writes. I'm currently dating someone who is 10 years older than me. I'm 19 and she is 29. I don't see an issue with the age difference. She is literally my dream girl. A few of my friends have mentioned that age is a thing and that they tread very lightly about. They like their partners in the same age brackets, personally. Do you think there is an issue with the age difference between my partner and I? And what would be your limits in terms of age you would go for or accept as a partner? Harry.
Well, I'll take this one since I'm the younger one in our relationship. But I mean, we have a 13-year age gap.
Yeah.
I'm almost 26. He's 38. But I've always only dated older men.
That's your thing.
That is kind of my thing. But I will say, I will say that, like, when I was 19, I dated someone who was in their late 20s, and that was really different than what it's like now to date someone who's older, because when I was 19, I was like in my second year of college. I still lived at home. I had barely worked jobs before. I was like still a baby, basically. Whereas the person I was dating, who was in their late 20s, had lived on their own for a long time. They had a career, they had all this stuff. And that was really weird because our life experience was so different. I think that it did cause like a slight imbalance of power. And now, as someone who is like entering their late 20s and has a career and has all this stuff, I look at someone who's 19 and in that stage of their life, and I'm like, why would you find that attractive? Like, that to me is strange.
Yeah.
Like, just because like there's a maturity like disparity there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like Bruce and I met, and I had been living on my own for a long time. I had a career, I had all this stuff. Bruce was in the same stage of his life. Like, we were both adults at that point. So I think it was just a little bit less of like a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I don't like to compare, like we were talking about before. I've just been in a lot of relationships, and I've been in a lot of different relationships, whether or not they were younger or older or my same age for that matter. And it's one of those things where I truly think it depends on the person, because it just depends on where they're at in their life, where they're at in their career, what their maturity levels are at. Because I've met people that just weren't at the same maturity levels as Autumn was, and they were my age. So it's like, it just happens. It's just, people are just in different stages of life. And if you just happen to meet the right person at the right stage of life, then you'll meet, like then it'll all work out. And then if
Absolutely.
it doesn't. To Autumn's point though, I do really think that so like, for example, if you're 18 and you meet somebody who's 28, or if you're 16 and meet somebody who's 26 or whatever, like then the age difference becomes like major thing, because the younger person is still so early on in their life. They've really not had any life experience, or like maybe they haven't been in the workforce for a very long time. But for example, if somebody's, 39 and you met somebody who's 49 or whatever else, then at that point, yeah, they're probably more established. They probably found a life groove that they've settled into, and that 10-year age difference maybe won't make nearly as much of a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely agree with you guys. I think there's just a mindset and a life experience thing past a certain age, to the point where it's like that age difference kind of becomes a little more muddled and like not as relevant or important in terms of how that relationship functions. But yeah, like an age difference from 19 to 29, I could see why the friends might be kind of trepidatious about that, because especially like a woman who's 29 might be expecting certain things, wanting to advance in terms of like wanting a family or wanting to, start a more established relationship. Whereas like if you're 19, you have so much life to still experience. You might not have worked for long. You might still be in school. There's like a complete different mindset. Whereas like in terms of when you're well into your 20s and beyond, you've probably lived on your own. You probably are starting a career or well into a career by then. Just like kind of everything that you said, I would echo for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as the younger person too, like you just have to be really open to if the older person is showing red flags of like they're trying to date a younger person because they, you know, they want to like control you. So I think a lot of that is like, have they dated people, like do they usually date people their own age or like older, or are they like always dating people who are younger than them or like less powerful than they are? Because I think that's part of it too. It's like if you see red flags in someone who's like older and always trying to date younger people and showing signs of like controlling behavior, that's obviously like not a good thing. But if they're not showing those, then you know, see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We all know that Bruce is here just to suck from the fountain of youth and stay young and beautiful forever.
That's all I
know
want
your
to do.
motives.
When Autumn and I met, she was 23 and I was 35, I think it was.
yeah.
And I tell you what, when I met her, I was like, you know what? She was 23 and I was 35. And I'm the kind of person that whenever I meet anybody, damn it, I can't even say the joke anymore. I want them younger. That's the way I date. I date really young. No, I actually never. To be honest with you, Autumn's the youngest person by far that I've ever dated.
Yeah,
Typically I date people around my own age. That
was a good sign to me where I was like, he's not serially dating younger women. It's just like a chance thing that happened. Yeah.
Well, it's just a matter of the right person in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's something that I sympathize too. And we get a lot of questions actually about age difference, and like what we think about that. And like ultimately, I think as long as there's an understanding of where both people are in their life and in their experience, and like there's a mutual respect and understanding and a way to work around that, then it's just about the person. And if it works for both of them, and if both people are happy settling in terms of like, especially when it's like a 19 to 29, like if the 29-year-old could settle for what the 19-year-old is still experiencing in life and vice versa, you know, that's on them. That's their choice.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's the age difference between Trevor?
Trevor is 29, and I'm going to be 31 in July. So it's about a year and a half. Yeah.
Oh, cradle robber.
I know. It's actually he's the first guy I've ever dated who is younger than me, technically. He's not that much younger. I say a younger man, but it's like barely.
It's like a year,
and the good thing but the good thing about him too is that he's very like mature and very established in his career, so we're both kind of on the same page in that sense. But like I've been interested in guys who were significantly older than me. Like I was really attracted to someone who was 14 years older than me for a while, 14 or 15 years, I forget, but I was just like, this is odd. But it's because like they had the same kind of mindset and humor and lifestyle that I had. So it was like, who cares?
Mariel, what's your age difference?
Months.
Oh yeah, wow. Perfect.
Yeah, which is, I mean, my ex was 3 years older than me, and it was kind of funny. Like a while ago, Hannah and I were sitting there talking, and I can't remember why, but I asked her what, like, I was just like, oh yeah, well, like, you know, back in 2010, like when we graduated in high school, blah blah blah, and she was just like, wait, no, I graduated high school in 2011, and it was so shocking to both of us that we weren't wouldn't have been in the same grade.
Yeah.
You know? And I was just like, you're a grade younger than me? Ew.
Is it just me, or does it seem like the people who are the grade younger than you are so young? And like when you see pictures of them like on social media now, you're like, you're only a year younger than me. Like you're not young, but you feel still so much younger than me.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is that one of my best friends that like I grew up with and everything, she's a year younger than me. And I view her so like as being so much younger than me than she actually is. I mean, really, she's like, her birthday is also in February. So she's basically just exactly a year younger. But like I always viewed her as being like a baby. And then when I found out that like technically her and Hannah would have been in the same grade and like graduating class, I was just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you're 15 or 16 or whatever, then it's a huge difference. But when you're 28, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So
yeah. I think, I mean, what Barbara was saying is so true, is that like as you get older and like age gap just, that doesn't matter. It's so insignificant because it's like what, like a 78-year-old and like a 65-year-old are going to be like, oh my God, you know, just these two over here, we just don't ever get along because there's such an age difference.
Yeah, it won't matter.
There's a show on Hulu called Marrying Millions, and it's about people who are dating very rich people. And there's one couple that's 60 and 21. And at that point, I'm like, that's a significant difference.
Major difference.
Yeah. But like, if the 60-year-old is super young at heart and the 21-year-old is like super mature, then like maybe.
Okay.
But
yeah. I mean, but like Autumn said, if there's a pattern though, then you start to go, I wonder. You know,
I'm pretty sure that guy's into a very young kind of age range.
He can yeah, there was this lady, I don't remember who she was, but they did like a documentary on her because she dated a bunch of like really old rich dudes, and then they like all subsequently died because they were super old, and she got really rich because she inherited all their wealth, and she was like, I worked so hard for my money, like I had to marry these horrible men. I was like, you know what? All right.
All right, let's finish up with one more question. We have a ton of great Box of Issues questions that are coming in all the time. And if you want to submit yours, you could do that at alwaysopen@roosterteeth.com. Send us an email. So this one comes from Jordan. And Jordan writes, hey, Always Open cast. I have been dating my girlfriend for the last 5 years, and she has become one of the best things that has ever happened to me. When we first started dating, we both agreed that if things got serious, we weren't going to get married since we didn't see the point in that at that time. Fast forward to now, for the past couple of months, my viewpoint on marriage has been changing, and I want to bring it up again and talk to her about it. But every time I mention marriage, she just responds with, I just don't see the point in it. She has said in the past that if her significant other would want to get married, it would be a deal breaker, and she doesn't think she would be able to keep dating them. How do I bring up such a delicate subject with her when I'm scared to tell her that I really want to get married, knowing full well that she might dump me because of it? I could really use your help. Jordan.
Oh, that's sad.
Hold on, there's another truck driving by.
What's the answer?
Yeah, I know. Truck, what do you think? You want to?
Yeah, hold on. It's okay. I think like there are a few things in relationships that really just like I feel like you can't work through, and I think like it's whether or not you want to get married, whether or not you want to have kids. Those are like two really big things because you can't really compromise on those things.
Sometimes each other's families as well.
Yeah, so I think like if you really can't get past that, like if neither of you are kind of in your heart wanting to budge, then that's kind of
it's a tough one. I mean, like the advice that I would give Jordan to bring it up is he has to decide where he lands first before he talks to her about it. So if, for example, he can think through it and be like, you know what, I don't need to get married. I'll be okay if I don't get married. Then it's good to bring it up and talk about it. But if he's willing to compromise, or if he will be okay with not getting married for the rest of his life, then that's totally fine. They should still talk through it. Like Autumn said, but if he's like really set in his heart that he needs to get married and he wants to, you know, have a partner in marriage for the rest of his life, then there may be some issues there that they have to talk through. And I don't know that they'll work out. They may not. That's just sometimes it just happens. Like people grow up or they just, you know, sometimes traumatic experiences will change your opinion on marriage that you have in a relationship. Who knows? Lots of things can change.
Autumn, did you always want to get married?
I was literally going to ask the same question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. The thing I fluctuated on was kids, because like before, I mean, also I'm only 26, but like only over the past couple of years when I met Bruce, I was like, yeah, I want to have like 50 fucking kids. Let's do it. Whereas before I was like, no kids, never.
Yeah. That was one thing we talked about early on, actually.
Which is like, and that's the thing, right? Because like that's smart, because if you really want to have kids, then like the other person doesn't. That's something you should figure out.
You should know that sooner rather than later in a relationship. I would say, like the sooner you can figure that out, the better.
We were like a couple months in, I think, and we talked about that. And we've known other couples where like it was funny because Autumn and I have known other couples where they're years into their relationship and she is being told by that couple, oh yeah, like one of us doesn't want to have kids, and both Autumn and I are like, oh no, like that's really bad. Like you guys have been in it for years. You really should have talked about this beforehand. But I didn't know that when I was 23, 21, whatever, and I was in a relationship. I had no idea you had to talk about that stuff early on. And it's so smart of you, if you are in a relationship, doesn't matter how old you are, bring that stuff up early on, really, because it will honestly forge your relationship, in the fires of hell. Because you'll find out, you'll find out, you'll be like, oh, okay, we do not meet in the middle on this. Or both of you want to have kids and it's perfect. Like when I talked to Autumn and she was like, yeah, I want to have kids. I was like, great, perfect. Exactly. That's exactly what I want. I want to have kids. I'm an only child, so I have no siblings. It's up to me to procreate. So I want to have kids too. But if Autumn had said early on, no, you know what? I'm just not into kids. It's not my deal. I would have been like, all right, well, I guess.
Peace out.
See you later. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone absolutely like 100% wants to have kids and the other person is like either wishy-washy or knows that they don't, like that unfortunately is kind of a deal breaker because the other person will ultimately never be able to give you what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if like I know a certain couple that like you can just tell that the dad just like didn't want to have kids and was somehow like convinced through it, and like the dude just seems miserable and like he loves his kids, but he's just like, this isn't the fucking life I wanted, and now he's raising these kids who don't have that great of a like childhood or home life because their dad doesn't really want them around.
Oh man,
and
that
so
sucks.
and so like I don't know, I mean relationships are obviously about compromise, but I think also if you like are steadfast in how you feel and that the other person is too, and you're on opposite ends of the spectrum, then like there's no compromising.
The marriage thing is interesting just because like it's, I guess marriage to me is a little different than the whole kid situation. Like I feel like like with kids, that's like, this is what I want out of life. Like, this is my future. I want to have a family. Like that is so like, like black and white essentially, if kids or no kids. Whereas like marriage, I feel like it depends on the reasoning why people do or do not want to do it. Like if there's like a financial reason or like some type of security or stability type thing involved, or like someone feels more secure in their relationship in that way. I don't know what the reasoning could be. Or if someone is just like, I just want to be able to have a party and express my love to you and have all of our friends and family involved. Like it's an important event for me to share with the people I love. Then that's like a whole nother reason. So I don't know, like, I feel like there needs to be a discussion of what the intentions of wanting to or not wanting to do it. Like, I'm curious as to her reasoning, why she like is very firm, doesn't want to get married. Like if it's, she's had relatives or her parents maybe got divorced or she's had bad experiences with marriage in the past, and like why he wants to, like, what are his reasons why he wants to do it?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's I think, because I mean, I was married early on in my life, married 23 to 25. And then the next relationship afterward, I had a very serious relationship right after that marriage. And for years and years, I just didn't want to get married. That was just not it wasn't in the cards for me. Like, and we talked about it over and over. And she was like, well, are you sure you don't want to get married? And I was like, I really don't. And my opinions changed. Like, it just took years. It took a really long time for me to decide, okay, yeah, you know what, I think I'm probably in the right space now in my head to want to get married. But so people change. It's who knows? Like Barbara brought up a good point of like, it could have been traumatic events in their life that make it so that she doesn't want to get married. And maybe in 5 years' time, maybe she does want to get married. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess the question is like, is it? I feel for this guy because he doesn't want to lose her, but this is something that he feels pretty strongly about at this point. So I just wonder like what he should do in this situation. Like, does he bring it up or does he? I mean, I think ultimately like the best direction to go in is always open communication. And if your significant other reacts poorly to that, or you trying to speak your mind, then that's probably not a good sign in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think if you share with your significant other like something that really matters to you and you really care about it, it's like, if you have a good relationship, whether or not you disagree on it, you still will feel like you can talk to them about it, and at least like she'll know then, and they can move forward from there. So
bye, truck.
Thanks for your input.
The truck's like, I'm outie.
Yeah.
Peace.
No, it was a truck.
Oh.
Nice. Car humor.
A perfect way to end the show. Well, thank you guys for your help, and hopefully, Jordan, I don't know if that gave you any clarity, but hopefully you guys figure something out and talk about it, and that you're both ultimately happy with whatever you choose to do, because that is the most important thing. Meryl, Bruce, Autumn, thank you so much for joining me today on this wonderful episode of Always Open. We miss you guys. We love you. I hope you guys are doing so great despite everything going on in the world. But we're still going to do a post show with you guys. So if anybody watching is a first member, come on over to the Rooster Teeth website. We have more content with these lovely folks over there.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
And check out Bruce's streams. Bruce.
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh my
Twitch.
gosh, where can we find you? Bruce on Twitch.
Yeah, it's just Bruce Greene.
Is it
It's just my name.
Twitch.com/Bruce Greene.
Twitch.tv/Bruce Greene.
Twitch.
Yeah.
There it is.
Mariel's got it. She's got it. It's all good.
Twitch.
Yeah.
And check out Inside Gaming as well. Miss Autumn leads that team over there.
She does.
Please do. We would love the views.
A badass, boss-ass bitch.
Hell yeah.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you all next week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay sane. We love you. Cheers. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that episode of Always Open. We really appreciate your support. If you don't mind, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who might not know Always Open yet, and leave a comment below telling us what your favorite part of the episode was. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.